Hi everyone! Yep, it's another tutorial. This one is the cupped mask. It is made to cup your face, but still give you the space to breathe and talk, so it does not feel claustrophobic when wearing one. So if you still cannot find a mask you like, why not try this one? This one is a cut on fold mask, so you are required to have a big enough piece of fabric, unlike the two-piece duckbill style patterns that get away with smaller pieces of fabric. Again, this pattern is available in many sizes and has the optional nose bar slot and 2 filter options for that extra protection. Without a filter, this design is only 3 layers thick. I think the opening is adequate to fit your fingers in, so it is up to you if you want to adjust it. If you do, just cut the edge to make the pattern shorter. Remember, you will lose about 1 centimeter, that's 3/8 of an inch later. I will only be making this mask using option 1 filter option. This is the conventional one where the filter lining is in the center of the mask. If you require option 2 filter lining, that is the reverse filter lining, then I would suggest you to go and watch the cover mask tutorial or the basic one-piece mask tutorial. Just skip to the second portion of either tutorials to see how the reverse filter lining is applied. I have decided to stick with option 1 because it is the most popular out of the 2. Also, it is 3 layers even if you don't use a disposable filter. Make sure you have pre-wash or pre-shrink all your fabrics to prevent further shrinkage. For demonstration purposes, I am using polycotton for the lining. Get your filter lining fabric and fold it with the right side on the inside, making sure the grain line is running parallel to the folded edge. Ideally, press it with an iron to give it a crisp edge, but I am going to eyeball this. Place the pattern against the fold, pin in place. Next, prepare the lining and the main fabric piece. Same again, make sure the folds are on grain, check that the pattern fits, and both edges are parallel. Make sure the print is the right way up. Same again, make sure the fold is on grain and both edges are parallel. By stacking 2 pieces of fabric together, you can cut out a bit of work. Align the folded edges, pin in place. Now pin the pattern by aligning it against the folded edge. Pin in place. Cut out all the pattern pieces. Now to notch the darts. Place a pin here in the dart. Put a pin in on the other side. Pin here and also here. If you like, you can use a piece of chalk or a pencil to mark this, but I prefer doing it this way. Pull the pattern away. Replace the pin here because it came off with the pattern. Pull open the pattern. All your markings are done. Repeat it on the other 2 patterns. Place a pin here in the dart. Put a pin in on the other side. Pin here, right on the edge. And also here, right on the edge. Pull the pattern away. Replace the pin here because it came off with the pattern. Pull open the pattern. Place a pin here. Pull open the pattern. All your markings are done. Place a pin here. Pull open the pattern. All your markings are done. Now go over to the machine and sew up the darts. Sew on the wrong side of the fabric. Sew the top or the bottom darts first. Press the foot up, needle down into where you are going to sew. Press the foot down. Backstitch, then sew to the end, and then backstitch. Next, I'm going to sew the darts on the sides. This can be tricky if you've never sewn a dart before. Pick up one layer and pinch it in the tip of the dart. Fold it flat. You're going to start sewing from the point to the edge. Press the foot up and needle down into the point. This is to hold it in place. Then adjust the fabric on the edge, matching the notches. Don't worry if the darts don't quite match up. Just align it up to the best of your ability. I will try to perfect the pattern before releasing. Press the foot down, backstitch and sew to the end, then backstitch again. Repeat on the other side. Pick up one layer and pinch it in the tip of the dart. Press the foot up and needle down into the point. Fold it flat. This is to hold it in place. Then adjust the fabric on the edge, matching the notches. If you can't sew a straight line without drawing one, here's the tip. When your presser foot is up, pull out excess thread out of the needle before you lower it. Then pull the thread to the front to where you want to stop. Holding it taut will give you a guide to sew a straight line. Press the foot down, backstitch and sew to the end. Just try not to sew over the line. Then backstitch again. Complete the bottom centre front dart. Press the foot up, needle down into where you are going to sew. Press the foot down, backstitch and sew to the end, then backstitch again. Repeat on the lining pattern. Sew on the wrong side of the fabric. Press the foot up, needle down into where you are going to sew. Press the foot down, backstitch, then sew to the end, and then backstitch. Complete the bottom centre front dart. Needle down into where you are going to sew. Press the foot down, backstitch and sew to the end. Then backstitch again. Next, I'm going to sew the darts on the sides. Pick up one layer and pinch it in the tip of the dart. Fold it flat. You're going to start sewing from the point to the edge. Press the foot up and needle down into the point. Then adjust the fabric on the edge, matching the notches. Press the foot down, backstitch and sew to the end. Then backstitch again. Repeat on the other side. Pick up one layer and pinch it in the tip of the dart. Fold it flat. Press the foot down and needle down into the point. This is to hold it in place. Then adjust the fabric on the edge, matching the notches. Backstitch and sew to the end. Then backstitch again. Repeat on the filter lining. Sew on the wrong side of the fabric. Remember to leave 1 cm, that's 3/8 of an inch or 0.4 inches gap at the top. Press the foot up, needle down into where you are going to sew. Press the foot down, backstitch, and then backstitch. Remember to leave a 1 cm gap for the nose bar slot, then complete the dart. Backstitch, then backstitch again. This is what the gap should look like. Complete the darts on the filter lining as before. Pick up one layer and pinch it in the tip of the dart. Fold it flat. Press the foot up and needle down into the point. Press the foot down, then adjust the fabric on the edge, matching the notches. Backstitch and sew to the end, then backstitch again. Repeat on the other side. Pick up one layer and pinch it in the tip of the dot. Fold it flat. Press the foot up and needle down into the point. Press the foot down, then adjust the fabric on the edge, matching the notches. Backstitch and sew to the end, then backstitch again. Complete the bottom centre front dart. Needle down into where you are going to sew. Press the foot down, backstitch and sew to the end. Then backstitch again. Time to clip, trim or notch the curved edges. One clip at the bottom is fine. For the top you will need 2 or 3 clips, but make sure you clip close to the seam line, to the notch closest to the point. Clip close to the seam to the dot at the bottom too. It will allow the dart to lie flat when pressed. Repeat on the other 2 fabric pieces. On the wrong side of the filter lining, fold the edge over 5mm, then another 5mm. I usually edge stitch this, but today I'm going to press it first. Repeat on the other side. Go and get everything pressed ready for assembly. Edge stitch the sides of the filter lining. From now on I won't remind you to backstitch at the beginning or the end of your sewing. This should be second nature. Repeat on the other side. Main fabric piece, right side facing up. Filter lining, wrong side facing up. Lining, wrong side facing up. Match the top seams. Place a pin roughly 1 cm, that's 3/8 of an inch, into the seam down from the raw edge. Pin along the raw edge from the middle going out. Repeat on the other side. Repeat on the other edge. Match up all the seams in the middle. Again pin 1 cm, that's 3/8 of an inch, down from the raw edge. Pin outwards, then repeat on the other side. Now for the dart. Don't worry if the edge isn't smooth, we can trim it down slightly, so it's easier to sew. Fold the mask in half will help you make it symmetrical and cut in both sides at once, making edges into a smooth line to sew. Don't trim off too much, it is only to give us a smooth edge. Now sew up the 2 edges. To eliminate bulk, make sure the darts are folded not in the same direction on all 3 layers. Sew along the other edge. Both edges need a bit of clipping because they are curved. By clipping it, it would enable it to lay flat later on when you turn it the right side out and it's pressed. Trim off any bulk in the nose and chin area if required. When turning the right side out, pick the side where the main fabric and the filter lining is. Go and give it a press and make sure all the seams are pulled to the edge. It should look something like this when it's pressed. As you can see, it's got a slight cupped shape. Time to add the elastic. You can do this last if you want to thread it through a channel. I like to do mine this way to save time. Make sure you seal the end of the elastic to prevent it from fraying. Make sure the knot is small and tight. I like to fold it twice so that the edge sits next door to the filter lining edge. If you want that extra width, then just make sure these 2 folds are slightly smaller. The fold edge on the pattern is just a guide. Edge stitch this. Make sure you pull the elastic to the side so it doesn't get caught. Trim your threads as you go to keep it nice and tidy. Repeat on the other edge. Now tuck the knots into the channel, careful not to stretch it. We can't stitch the top and the bottom edges yet. Check that the seams are not tucked inside. Use a pin or a needle to pull it out. I find the pin bends quite easily. I like to use my clickers awl to do this because it doesn't damage the fabric. Edge stitch along the edges. Use a pin or a sharp object to pull the seams out to the edge to edge stitch. Repeat on the other edge. Time to make the nose bar slot. When making it, try to avoid sewing over the opening. Get your nose wire and cut it to length. I like to fold in the edges, this will allow it to slot in faster. Fold it again to prepare it. Fold your mask backwards so the inside is on the outside. Place the nose bar like this, matching up at the top edge. Put a pin at the beginning and the end to mark the length of the nose bar slot. I like to make mine a little longer. In my last 3 tutorials, I have sewn this with the right side facing up. If you're not very confident with your sewing and think you might miss the opening, then I suggest you to sew it with the wrong side facing up so you can see where the opening is. On the left edge, sew 3 to 5 stitches, then stop. Needle in the down position, press the foot up. Pivot the mask 90 degrees. Lower the presser foot, using the edge of the mask as a guide. Sew along the top edge until you reach the other pin. Stop when you get there. Needle down, presser foot up, pivot the mask 90 degrees, lower the presser foot, complete the stitching. Slot in the nose bar like this. So there you have it, you've completed the mask. When this tutorial goes up, you will be downloading the up-to-date pattern. On the new pattern, I have included imperial as well as metric measurements. The elastic measurement and option 2 filter guideline are also included, and the nose bar gap is indicated. Remember to like, share, subscribe or follow for more from me at Shanniemakes. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, or visit my website at shanniemakes.com. Thanks for watching, see you next time.